Time again. Okay, we have CMPS moving. Looks like it moved a few minutes before the hour. 6:30. Good morning. Good morning. My apologies if I seem a little out of it today. Feeling a bit under the weather. But I'm still here. Right. Okay, we have EVOK. Looks like a buyout. Agree to be acquired. $11 a share. Okay, it's extremely close to the buyout price, so I'm not interested at this level. This would be a rare strategy 3 setup for me, though, if we see a pullback to around, probably around $10. But this is too close to the buyout, so I'm not interested in here. Looks like it's a somewhat cold start to the day. Right, we don't have many actual gappers this morning. Evoke is basically the best we have, but that's a buyout. Followed by MSPR, but that's not the greatest. It's a penny stock. Right, we have CMPS, but this one seems like it's kind of not doing what I would want it to do. All right, you had this weird price action. Okay, PCRB, or PPCB. Did have news at 7, but it looks like it completely rolled over. I think I'm just going to be a little more patient, at least initially. Get a better read of the market first. EVOK, looks like it's just straight up consolidating here. I'm actually surprised it's holding this high up, considering it is a to be acquired. Like, enters into definitive agreement, but it's probably not finalized yet, and there can be legal issues, so I'm surprised it's this close to the buyout price immediately. That seems kind of strange to me. If there's no arbitrage opportunity, though, then it is what it is. RLMD. This one looks weird. Right? Massive flush here. Also, both of these candles were on very low volume. The major volume came in here that pushed it down. But on the flip side, we are seeing higher volume on this returning candle. Looks like a lot of chaos to me right now. I don't really have a good read on this. Right, you've got bearish action, more bearish action, now you've got bullish. Looks very unclear. increasing volume on this surge here. So this could have just been noise, because the volume was fairly light. Right, 17,000, 20,000. So what was the news on this? Announces FDA feedback supporting two separate acceptable. Okay. So I can't really make heads or tails of that, but it could be good. I'll just kind of see how this plays out. Ooh. Massive volume spike on this candle. So we saw a hard rejection from 290 to 260. And that was the last few seconds because it was green when I looked away. I'll definitely keep an eye on this, but this seems extremely whiplashy. What is the shares outstanding on this? So this is 30. Thinkorswim also says 30 million, so I'd assume about 30 million. CMPS looks like it's pulling back somewhat hard. Yeah, considering there isn't a lot of big movers, and considering the two main stocks in play are CMPS, which is very unclear, and RLMD, which also looks very choppy, I think I need to just be patient here. Both of these stocks look very volatile and unclear to me. That combined with not a lot of high percentage movers, I think I need to just be patient here. This definitely looks like the better of the two setups, though. So very interesting. So we had light volume, heavier volume pushed it down, heavier volume brought it up, heavier volume pushed it down, and now heavier volume, like we're seeing the volume increase for each dramatic move. This is very interesting. There definitely seems to be some kind of battle going on here, though. Wow. 350 all the way to 270. Wow. Yeah, this is so choppy. I need to, forgot to open my daily. Get this ready. Okay, now we got this ready for whenever we get any trades. Yeah, I mean, both of the leading stocks currently, excluding Evoke, we only have a 35% move and a 32% move. Not looking the greatest for a start to the day. Hello, Hope and Flight. How you doing? One other thing to note, PHIO, because I was watching this yesterday, it didn't end up holding. It gave the entire move back. This is bearish and suggests we're still in the cold market. Seeing top gainers give the entire thing back, not ideal at all. Looks like there might have even been an offering here. Yeah, it looks like they had some kind of offering. Yeah, I'm just going to sit tight for now. I don't really trust this move. This is extremely volatile. We've seen actually multiple swings now, right? So we saw a low volume thrust, higher volume dump, higher volume thrust, higher volume dump, higher volume thrust, higher volume dump. So extremely whiplashy. It seems like this would be better for reversal kind of plays than momentum, just because of how much it's reversing. I mean, where would I even, if I was to try and take a reversal, it'd probably be around the 220s, right? This looks like decent support. 220s, that would be around the previous day's close, though. So maybe actually like 230, 240 would be safer. Oh, you actually, I mean, hey, good job trading this. I was too afraid to touch this thing. This thing looked way too violent for me to touch. But yeah, good stuff, making 20 cents on it. Yeah, no trades for me. I mean, as for me today, I actually feel pretty terrible. I didn't sleep so well, so I'm a little out of it today. Hopefully that doesn't affect trading too much. Okay, we're seeing it calm down a little bit, at least temporarily. The volume is still very high, though. No, I mean, this had multiple flushes, too, like, on both sides, right? It had multiple flushes and multiple surges. This is... It feels like two people were fighting here. At least that's my take on it. Right, we had bullish bearish sentiment shift like 3 or 4 times on increasing volume. Very unusual. We do see somewhat of a rising trend line here, but I don't really know how much I trust it. Yeah, I do think it could collapse to around 240, 230. Could be a good bounce opportunity, though. Just given the way this thing has been bouncing and reversing. I don't know. I don't really feel safe taking a momentum position on this, though. Worth noting that each of these candles had a new lower high. We had an attempted new 1-minute high, and it looks like it might be failing. If this holds here, then it could be a bear trap. But again, I don't really trust it for an aggressive play, so I'll just be patient. I'll take an overextension to the downside, though. Okay, we're seeing a bit of a breakdown. This is kind of a weak breakdown, though. Could be a fake out. Volume is still somewhat high. This could be a real breakdown. We'll see. I expect a move to happen, though, because this volume has increased. CMPS, the other main mover, has apparently given it all back again. So, not really what you'd want to see. So interesting too the way this formed. It was set up so that exactly at 7 o'clock is whenever the dump happened. I'm wondering if that's by coincidence or not. SPR is rallying back up a little bit. It's too cheap, so I'm not interested though. This one's kind of rallying. This is a very interesting daily pump. You could see this being the start of a reversal here. We're basically at the previous day's high. So you could see a high break in it, looking for a $4 move maybe. There's no news on it though, so this would be more of a technical play. Oof, okay, so we are seeing the breakdown, but this volume is low. This is very low volume for this kind of move. I'll take a half size there. I might add if we go into 230s. This feels like a bit of an overreaction. Nice. Can we break into 260s? Oh, I tried to sell 260 there, and then it immediately popped back down. Missed out on like 5 cents from that. For like 1 second, half a second really, it popped up to 261. A little bit unlucky on that one. That can be the problem with hotkeys. Because if you try to sell and then between the time you think to sell and the time you actually sell, if there's like a split-second reaction, that can happen. It was a good setup though. I timed the bottom pretty well. Yeah, I would say a base hit would really be $10 for me with the size I'm taking. So this would have been a base hit if I hit that, but yeah, and it did end up going around 260. Now this kind of move, and it was about similar volume to this at the time, that seemed like a pretty big overreaction. And my plan is if it continued into 230s with the same low volume, I was going to add another 50 shares. Alternatively, what I could have done was, because I know I wanted to sell around 260, 261, I could have put 260 and like actually manually entered it. I had a little bit of time. Also, this reaction also seems kind of... Right, this is low volume on another pull down. I'm not as inclined to buy it here because it's already bounced once, but if we see a break to around 220, 230, I'd be interested. PRLD. Good call. Check this one out. Very, very high volume. What is the float, though? It's important. A little bit higher, but this volume is still quite high. We have news. Looks like we have news. I'm in there for half size. Looking for a return to around 445, 450. Hit it. Very nice. Looked like a little bit of an overextension here. Yeah, that's probably a B plus quality. It's a nice, that was an actual real base hit there. Looks like I have COI for PRLD. What is COI? I don't know what that means. Message has been retracted. Yeah, volume's non-existent, so I'm not very optimistic for a push up or down right now. This looks like consolidation. RLMD looks like it's completely flatlining right now. Like it's just going all the way back down. Yeah, EVOK, that was a buyout, so it's not really going to move any. The buyout price was $11. It's holding like 28 cents below that. I feel like there's not a really good arbitrage play there. If this went down to like $10, I'd be much more interested for a buy and hold for like 1 or 2 hours, but it's too close to the buyout price. I'm not really interested. A PRLD continuing to sell off. Considering it made this big of a move with this volume, I feel like this isn't a fair enough overreaction. So I'm still not really interested yet. We have 4 minutes till the half hour, and we'll see if more news comes out. Surprised how much of an inflow of people we got coming already. If you guys are new here, please do leave a like. If you like the stream, consider subscribing. I stream every day, regardless of my results. And yeah, hopefully I can actually show something today, but it's been pretty cold for the markets the last few weeks, so don't expect too much today. I'm really just trying to not lose money. Do you have merch? No, I don't. I mean, merch would be something funny maybe to do down the line. I say I don't sell anything. Merch is kind of different because that's more like a way to support me kind of thing. That's not really a product or service. So that wouldn't be something I'd be like totally against, but I haven't even really thought about something like that. I really just want to make something that others can find value in and maybe just try and build a community. That's really what I'm trying to do. Thank you for streaming live. Yeah, no, it is hard, especially doing it consistently. It's really unfortunate. I chose probably the worst time to start streaming because of the cold market. I was doing so well when I started this channel. I was doing so well. I was having some days where I was hitting $100 plus days. And now it just feels like complete death, where just, I mean, you look at the top gainers, we'll exclude EVOK because it's a buyout, but like the next biggest mover is a 47% penny stock. And then after that, you have a 29% move, whereas this doesn't really look like a momentum play. It's just so cold in the markets. Morning, brother. First time here. Well, it's nice to see you. Try and enjoy the stream if I can do any job of doing that. Typically, like, I took 2 trades so far today. This is the spreadsheet template I use. On a hot market, I'll usually trade 10 to 15 times. I've found that the last 2 weeks I've really only been trading around 5 times on average, just because I've been a lot more picky with my setups. And it's because things just aren't working, right? You look at the stocks we've looked at so far today. RMLD, we had this very strange whiplashy price action, and it's just given it all back. PRLD, we had a spike and it's given it back. EVOK is a buyout. CMPS, this one was strange because it recovered, but at 7 a.m. specifically, it just died. So anyone who tried to buy this at 7, which would be like the Thinkorswim people or anyone with a broker that doesn't open until 7 a.m., they all got smoked. It just seems like a very unsafe market to be taking high risk right now. Okay, we got 10 seconds till the half hour. We'll see if any news comes out. Yep, just waiting to see if anything pops up on the scanners. It'll usually take a minute or two. This ended up having a big breakdown. This is kind of what I was worried about, because I was looking at how much of a move this made on this volume. So when we were seeing this pullback, it might have looked bullish, but the volume was very low relative to this, so there was potential for a bigger move down. This looks like a slight overreaction. I missed the timing. But this could have been a buy opportunity for a correction. Maybe not the best entry, but it would have been like maybe a B quality or B plus quality. This is very weird, just seeing random price and the spiking price difference. Strange. RLMD having a slight bounce here. I don't really trust it given how whiplashy this thing has been. This is a nice bounce though. It's almost a 20-cent bounce. SAGT, looks like we got movement. Let's see, we have a news catalyst on it as well. Announces landmark exclusive partnership. Not the most amazing catalyst. I want to see if there's any shelf registration for this company to dilute shares. Okay, so they do have a shelf registration. That makes me a little less inclined to want to get involved with it. We'll keep an eye on this one, though. So currently on the day, not looking great. We have 3 stocks that I really had in play. RMLD, this one sold off. PRLD, this one also sold off. And CMPS, this one looks like it's not holding up the greatest. So looks fairly cold. Not very ideal at all. I'm probably going to just have to keep my foot on the throttle and not really press too hard. The reason I'm hesitant to get in this one too is because this news catalyst seems very typical of a company just putting out news to try and hype the stock. And whenever I see that they have a shelf registration to dilute shares and they put out news catalysts like this, it's typically a bad combination. That's just my experience anyway. Makes me not want to trust it. Especially given the context, too, of how a lot of stocks aren't holding up. It makes me feel more inclined that this thing will roll over. So, as far as actual technicals go, so we had a spike here on low volume. High spike with a rejection. These 3 candles had descending volume. It's really hard to say if that's bullish or not, because you have no real prior history to compare these candles to. So you don't know if this is a healthy pullback or if this is aggressive selling. It's really hard to tell. So there's a couple ways. You could do the really boring and long way, which is go on the SEC website, and you could see if they have a filing for a shelf registration. That takes a long time, and it's not very time efficient. Rather, I like to go, there's a website called SEC BAM. You can go there, and they sort all the filings. It's free, so you don't have to pay anything. You can go on their website, and you can just straight up see what type of filings there are. And if you memorize what type of filings are for what types of offerings, then you can know if they have a registration. Like within the last 6 months, this company has filed for, I think it's an F1 registration. So they have shares they can dilute. They may have already done it. But the fact that they have a shelf registration within the last 6 months is concerning. Just right off the bat, that's a red flag. But yeah, SEC BAM is what I use. Not sponsored. This is rallying quite nicely, though. Yes, correct. Sorry, BAM SEC. My bad. Yes, BAM SEC. You're right. I switched the words. Yeah, you just go there. You can put in the name of the ticker, and it'll show you. Okay, so we saw a surge here. Volume is continuing to spike. This is certainly interesting price action. Yeah, I'm very iffy about whether I trust this or not. The increasing volume is reassuring. It is a bit rough that it rejected hard here on this high volume, though. Looks very unclear. But I mean, that's still... Unclear is better than me being bearish, because I was straight up bearish on this earlier. So I guess that's an improvement. I'm probably just going to watch it for now. I don't really think I'm going to try to trade a breakout on this. Yeah. Low volume, though. This breakdown was on lower volume. Not super low volume, though. So it's somewhat justified. Yeah, I just really don't know if I trust it. It feels so whiplashy. I'm like 50-50 if this is going up or down. I was a bit more optimistic about today, too, because we had those two 80% movers. But seeing how they held up, and seeing how we're even colder today than yesterday, it might just be the case that we're still in that cold stretch. Worth noting, this volume is higher than the volume from here. So there's actually more interest here. Could be indicative of buyers being interested. Unfortunately, I just don't trust it enough. Well, we had volume spike here. Volume is continuing to rise. This looks more bullish than this one, because this one rejected immediately. Even though the volume was higher on this one, we're not seeing a repeat of this rejection last time. Now I feel slightly more bullish on this. It's funny how I've switched from bearish to neutral to bullish. I'm just wondering if I should take a stab at it or not. Most of the stocks today are failing. I don't think I should try. It feels so risky. Maybe it's a coincidence, but it could be the case too that this rejection happened at the same price level of this rejection. Right, price surges up to here, large sell. Price surges up to here, looks like a large sell. You can imagine too, there's probably some people that went long here or here on the break. They're probably feeling the pressure right now. If this continues to break down, well, this volume's still high though. No, it'd have to do a pretty drastic reaction to like 220 for me to be interested. Because the problem is the volume on this is still very high. So this sell-off is justified. HKD, check that one out. Okay, so this one resolved well 2 days ago. What was it? What did it look like when it sold off? So we saw it pop. Pre-market it popped. Then in this market session it popped. Sold off, held most of it. Technically, it never even gave back the whole move. It gave back maybe 75, 80% of it. Also, SAGT selling off more. Okay, so now there's like a bunch of things coming into play. Yeah, HTTO as well. You called that one out. Thank you for that. Okay, I have HKD on a side chart. I'm watching both of them. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at HKD, HTOO, and SAGT. All three of them are moving a little bit. ABP. Some volume, but this looks more like manipulation, maybe. I wouldn't touch this one. Oh, SAGT. Selling off more. So we saw decreasing volume on this one. The move isn't quite big enough to justify buying. Yeah, I don't even think 220 is a safe buy anymore. There was too much volume leading to 220. You'd have to go like 215, 210 to be safe. Okay, HKD returning to highs. I might be willing to give HKD more opportunity just because this one did resolve nicely. But there could be some bag holders from this. $14,000 share seller there, 260. SAGT is at 224, so it's still selling off. HTOO has pulled back. It's kind of been churning. Don't really like how a lot of these are holding up. See, man, this is so horrible too, how this has just went from 280 all the way down to 220. There hasn't been any 1 minute bounce at all. There was a somewhat attempted bounce here at 230s, but it failed. Yeah, I really think if this goes down, there's a real chance it goes to 210. HKD looks like it's giving back. Pretty nasty flush. Very high volume too on this breakdown. I wouldn't be surprised if we see like 215. It might sound crazy to think it could do that, but I think there's a chance it does it. It is a Chinese stock too, so higher odds it does it. SAGT, we're now at 213. Okay, I took a starter at 209. That seemed like a slight overreaction. The fact that this downward move happened after all of this sell-off tells me this might be an exhaustion move. People who bought through this whole dip down might have bailed here. So anyone who's buying here might want to try and prop the price up. That's my theory anyway. Yeah, HTOO still churning. HKD mostly gave all the move back. There's nothing really interesting for a breakout play at the moment. I'll give this like another minute or two. If we don't see a curl though, there is a chance that there's a seller still pushing this down. HTOO had a nasty rejection. Just to jump over to that real quick. I'm not going to touch this right now because I'm in SAGT, but yeah, after trying to hold here, pretty nasty breakdown. Gave back the whole move. Yeah, we're just not seeing any stocks really holding up. Everything seems to just be failing. So after all of this, we're finally seeing an attempt at a 1 minute high. We actually haven't had a single 1 minute high this whole time. I'm going to bail there. I don't like how on this attempt at a high we're seeing such low volume. It's worrying me. If it ends up running to like 215, 220 without me, I'd rather just take the $1 loss or whatever it was. Yeah, $1 loss. Clearly timed the bottom wrong. It's crazy too. We've seen this happen a couple times now where the stock just sells off relentlessly. And even when you think it should bounce, it just doesn't. Like, it's insane to me that you can see this much of a sell-off, and then you see this kind of exhaustion move, and then it doesn't bounce. and it just continues down. Right, this kind of sell-off is kind of crazy to see no bounces. And we've seen this a couple times the last several days. And then whenever I saw this 1 minute high actually resolve, but then it was on extremely low volume, that's really what you don't want to see. All right, we got 3 minutes till the top of the hour. Hopefully I get something else in play here, because we've actually had almost every stock fail now. The only one that's like semi holding up is probably HKD, but it technically went all the way back down too, so, right? Like, this is probably the best stock that's holding up right now. Right, because what do we have now? We have SAGT, that failed. This one failed. This one failed. This one failed. Like, this is horrible. Like, this is such a terrible day. And even SAGT, I was right to bail because there was just no resolution. No one was willing to step in. We just gotta be patient. It sucks being in this cold market. You just can't take risks. Like, I'm 3 trades in the first hour. Guess I should at least be thankful I'm green. This is nasty just looking at this. IHRT, I'll check it out. It's moving decent. The volume is, or not the volume, the flow is quite high. So it's a little hard for me to read something like this. But you are right, it is moving quite well. On surprisingly low volume, too, for the amount of shares there are. Interesting how it kind of gave everything back pre-market, but it's recovered. Yeah, I typically don't trade stocks this high without a clean catalyst anyway. ABP did end up getting some volume. Yeah, it just ended up selling off though. STKH. Let's see what this one looks like. So low volume spike, higher volume on the pullback. There is news. Announces acquisition. There's a 10,000 share buyer here at 4. See how price reacts around 405. Some hesitation at 380. See how it reacts there. So it attempted a mini bounce. This news isn't super strong either. I'm really hesitant to even want to jump on this one just because of how much things are rolling over today. And this news isn't strong. 35 million shares. Well, this says 35 million. Thinkorswim says 900,000. So there might have been a reverse split. It kind of looks like that too, the way this gapped. So there was probably a reverse split. So it's probably actually closer to 1 million shares outstanding. Maybe if we see a move, crazy move down to like 330. I could see me doing half size around 330, 340. It did pop down there for like a brief moment. And this volume was very low, so that would have been a buy. But I missed it. I was looking at 330, 320. Just being a little more conservative. Okay. I'll take that. That volume was pretty low for this. Looking for 340. I'm gonna cut it. It's struggling at 330 too long. I think there was a seller there. It's really struggling at 330. Okay, finally took it. Okay, it did end up hitting 340, so I would have hit target. But the struggling at 330... Right, it struggled there for like 15 seconds. And to me, that was really concerning that there might have been a hidden seller. I think it was totally correct to get out there. Just taking the small scalps. I mean, 750, that's almost a base hit. So I got about 3/4 of the target. Not terrible. Okay, we got TPET coming up too on the scanner. I'll check that in a moment. I'm exclusive. This entire day, I've been exclusively trading the backside. I haven't done any momentum trades to the upside today. That was a good setup. And I want to kind of emphasize on this too. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a coincidence. I noticed the 330 struggling, like there was a hidden seller. It did a fake break and then immediately reversed. That tells me that there might have actually have been a seller. There might have actually been a seller at 330. And then this next leg down was them just bailing completely and all outing. Okay, so TPET. So it looks like this one is moving. It's a bit cheaper. We're seeing decent volume. I don't really know what to make of this catalyst. This could be a good catalyst. I don't really feel like I can interpret this enough to make a decision if it's good or bad. Or, I mean, like, as far as just building hype goes. Probably not super interested in this one. SDKH ended up breaking through too. Yeah, today is just really... I think it's really important today I'm not holding if I see hesitation. Like, if I see any resistance, considering how many stocks are just giving back everything, today is not a day to take a risk holding for long periods. Not while you're in the red. T-Pet. This one just seems like it's whiplashing a bit too much for me to be comfortable with. HRT is still kind of churning. STKH actually going even lower. So this is brutal sell-off. So from 295 to 255, we had about 100,000. If we see it go to like 240s, I could see me buying for a bounce there. This selling pressure seems like a slight overreaction to this volume compared to this. If we saw this go to 240s, high 240s, I could see me buying there. TP. So this one, T-Pet, also kind of dying. Man, I'm just afraid to touch anything right now. Everything just is dying. See if this breaks down or not. Since this consolidated, I think high 240s is too conservative now. I'd probably have to go for like 240 entry, maybe 235. We haven't seen a 1 minute high on this. We had an attempt here. Then we had a pretty significant rejection. Right, so anyone buying at 315 for the 1 minute high, they're down 70 cents right now. Let me go ahead and just throw out 232. If we end up flushing, then I'll catch the knife. So we broke down to 246. VSEE. Okay, I'll check it out. Okay, this one ran, right? Yeah, this was the one that ran up to like $4 a week ago. Okay, so we're seeing a move from 1 to 120. So 20-cent move followed by a 15-cent move. So this has the potential, even though it's cheaper. Very high volume on this spike up here. $60,000 share seller at 133. It's not super significant given the volume. It's worth pointing it out, though. Try taking a starter here. I'm giving this one a little more faith to the upside because this one has a history of resolving well. Selling half here just in case it breaks down. Really looking for 135, 140. I'd like to see a 1 minute high here. Okay, we're seeing this candle break down, but the volume's low. I'll keep holding the half size I have. We ended on higher volume on this candle. Really glad I sold half at 130 now. Okay. I'm not sure how much I trust this, though. I'm gonna cut it. I don't know if I trust it enough. $1 winner, whoop-de-doo. No, I was really looking, so I sold half at 130 when I saw it was struggling there. I really wanted to see the break of 130, the break of this 132, 133 for the 1 minute high. And I was looking for the squeeze to 135, 140. This high volume red candle, combined with it struggling when it hit 125, made me not interested. I normally wouldn't take such an aggressive setup because we've been having a cold market all day. But because the stock had a history of making a really big move, I was willing to give it more leeway. Didn't work out. The first strategy one of the day. We will see. I'm curious if it's actually going to end up recovering and curling. This high volume red candle was just too much for me, though. I can't hold through that. STKH is down to 230s now. I mean, yeah, in hindsight, I agree, right? I definitely sold too early in hindsight, but I don't really regret it either. There was enough red flags to me that for my tolerance, I shouldn't be in the trade. And to be fair, I did dodge some of the damage, right? I sold at 119 and the price went down to around 113. So I dodged about 6 cents. And really, there was about 6 cents of upside too. So I sold about in the middle. I wouldn't really say it was an overreaction on my part. And even if it does curl here, I'm still fairly satisfied with how I played that. So we're seeing this continue to break down. The volume's much lighter now. Unfortunately, now we're in potential manipulation territory, so would really need to see a drastic move, like down to like 210 for me to be interested in this. This is quite a dramatic move. IHRT looks like it's also giving back some. PTLE. PTLE is breaking out. It's too cheap for me. But if anyone likes penny stocks, this one looks like it's moving. STKH continuing lower. Put an order for 203 if we see a sudden flush down. This is a nasty breakdown. It's weird that it's consolidating so much here. I would have expected a faster bounce, if I'm being honest. What was the low? Like 208? Yeah, 208 was the low. So I was 5 cents off of an entry. I didn't really want to chase, but this thing has been just getting brutalized. And it's such... I mean, this says 35 million, but it's it had a reverse split. This is closer to a million share float. So this kind of move might see some big whiplash. I don't want to chase it, though. We got 8 minutes till the half hour. We'll see if anything comes up then. VSEE is still just churning around this 120 level. Yeah, it looks choppy here. Not very clean and... not very clean and quick. As for STKH, I'm torn because this is such a big overreaction, but it seems like the pressure has been relentless, so I'm actually inclined to say maybe 190s, like 190, 195 maybe. Because now that it hasn't bounced here, I'm almost inclined to think it's going to make another low, or at least the odds are higher. All right, VSEE is breaking out. I'm probably not going to touch it because I already gave it one chance. And it churned here for a while. It looks like it could be breaking out. AH still in this range. Yeah, I'm not going to buy it now. Now that it's showing it's not bouncing immediately, I'm really looking at 190s. I can throw an order here. I feel pretty comfortable buying and holding for a little bit if it does break to there. I'm mostly waiting for the half hour at this point. I just don't really see anything worth really paying much attention to at the moment. If we don't see any good opportunities at the half hour, I might call it early. It's just, if there's nothing moving, like, I don't think there's anything going to be really super in play in the next half hour from the stocks we've looked at. This just feels like a day where everything is just giving it all back. Or rather, 90% of things are giving it back. VSEE, back at high of day for it. This one's been a much slower mover. Even just looking at some of these other stocks we've had, the RLD, this one's continuing to just constantly bleed. Let me look at some of the others we had. This one's been bleeding. This one kind of stabilized. HKD is actually holding up. So this one could still be in play if we see a return to this, if you were interested in a momentum setup. So HKD is still somewhat in play. CMPS, actually not holding terribly relative to everything else. So yeah, I would change my assessment. I'd say about 80% of stocks aren't holding up. There are a select few. Yeah, yeah, just some of these stocks are just getting hammered though. We got 1 minute till the top of, or the half hour, and we will see if anything comes out. I'm gonna go ahead and just cancel this because I'm not gonna be watching it. FCNX is moving a bit cheap for me, but if anyone's interested in this one seems to be moving a little bit here. Lucy has been moving. Okay, no news though. Okay. No news move where 80% of stocks are selling off. I don't trust this at all. I'm gonna throw out a crazy order though. 153. Just considering how much this flushed. If we see a flush straight to 153, I'll take that. Yeah, the no news though, I don't trust this at all for an upward move. ARTL is also moving. Okay, this one does have news. So this one's probably a much better candidate stock. Now, this is publication of peer-reviewed article on role of fatty acid binding proteins in cancer. Okay, why would that cause a spike like this? This catalyst doesn't seem like a big deal. It is a low float, though. We only got about 3 million shares. It's a little bit beaten up. Could be due for a reverse, but I mean, this could be the extent of the bounce. We're already talking at a move where the price is gapping up to here on the daily. This might be overblown. I'm probably not going to touch this one, at least here. Lucy's recovered slightly. The lack of a catalyst really makes me not want to touch it, though. The fact it bounced from 165 to 195 is actually quite impressive, in my opinion. NB also is having some volume. Very weird. So we see a sudden spike to 650 and then immediate reverse back on massive volume. And on no news. Okay, so that's cool. Yeah, I don't know what to make of this one. This one's just kind of weird. Okay, so Lucy, we saw the spike to 195. Back down to 171. I'm not super bullish on this. Like, you could see a curl here. I'm more concerned about it just breaking down. This volume was high on this red candle. We'll see, though. This breakdown wasn't super bearish. See a sudden reclaim and then breakout. That could be possible. If he's kind of recovering. At least he's holding up better than I expected. For a stock that has no news, well, okay, news came out here, so... Okay, so maybe there was news on it, but just, Thinkorswim didn't have anything that reported it at 8:30. This might have actually came out a little earlier. It changes things a little bit. It's still very whiplashy, though. From the move going entirely down in one candle, recovers over 3, gives back almost all of the move in one candle. Even this candle, right? The volume is so low. We've got a bit of a spread here, too. ARTL is testing the support. Oh, I just broke through it. right before I can even get to it. Volume increasing on the downward move. I don't buy here because this volume's too high. If we see it close in to around like 307 maybe. It's tempting to buy here, but this volume's too high. This could be justified. I'll take half there. I'll add another half if we go down to 3. I'll take the other half there. I'm not going to add any more. If we break through 3, then it is what it is. I think I need to get out early. Yeah, tried to get out there. Didn't get a fill. Dollar loss on that one. Yeah, I'm too worried that I might have been a little too aggressive on this. I was struggling so long at 3. Lucy ended up breaking down too. I think that's probably close to a B minus. I think I was, I'll go over this in a second, but I think I was too aggressive. So this candle was on very high volume. I noticed about halfway through this candle, the volume was quite light. So I took half and then I added the other half towards the lower end of this candle. But maybe I was a little too ambitious starting at 315. It could have been that I needed to be getting the first half of the position around to, like, right around the lows of 3. It's very hard to say because, I mean, even this, it would have been a break-even probably trade no matter what. Very hard to say, but I think I was a little too aggressive on that. Got slightly burned because of it. Honestly, I think I should use that as the signal to call it for today. Almost everything is failing. Right, even Lucy, right? We go to Lucy. Lucy had a pretty big breakdown. It's kind of bouncing, but nothing to be impressed about. Yeah, no, this is a very dangerous day to be trading. A lot of stocks aren't holding up. Momentum plays aren't really working for the most part. But yeah, I'm going to call it here. I'm done for the day. You guys, if you're going to keep trading, be safe out there. Seems like a very dangerous market to be aggressive. But yeah, I'll go ahead and make the recap later today, and I will be back tomorrow morning, and hopefully we can get a bit of a warmer market, because this was brutally cold today. Very difficult.